Hello, my name is Stefan Kartman. Welcome to my studio. I would like to dedicate a series of video tutorials on remotely preparing chamber music to my students at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. But before we begin, I would like to speak about the unprecedented challenges our times have brought upon us as we continue to study and perform the high art of chamber music in the year 2020. At the moment, with social distancing in many locations, musicians have become creative and adept in using current technology in video and recording arts. Here is a sample of a piece by cellist Julius Klengel that I prepared using a process of layering audio voices in Avid Pro Tools, then recording a performance for video in Adobe Premiere Pro. Chamber music has always had a smaller and perhaps more devoted following of musicians than other genres of classical art music. Its very nature relies on things that at first glance would appear to be negated by the challenges presented by our times. But through history, artists have always faced challenges, and I know that you will survive whatever the second decade of 2000 can throw at you. It seems that so many people in the world are fighting for or against something these days. There are as many ways to fight as there are causes to fight for. Admittedly, the pandemic is a big challenge, and chamber music seems at first glance not as important as the causes we see represented in the newspapers. The arts in general are often pushed out of the spotlight when the world struggles with conflict and suffering. I'm reminded of the response of Winston Churchill. When asked to cut funding for the arts to support the war effort, Churchill replied, "Then what are we fighting for?" Similarly, when faced with the tragedy of John F. Kennedy's assassination, Leonard Bernstein responded, "We musicians, like everyone else, are numb with sorrow at this murder and with rage at the senselessness of the crime. But this sorrow and rage will not inflame us to seek retribution. Rather, they will inflame our art. Our music will never quite be the same. This will be our reply to violence." To make music more intensely, more beautifully, more devotedly than ever before. And with each note, we will honor the spirit of John Kennedy, commemorate his courage, and reaffirm his faith in the triumph of the mind. Somehow, art and artists survive against seemingly insurmountable odds. Perhaps being forced to fight for what we believe in is a defining characteristic of chamber music lovers. After all, we are still learning and performing works that were composed hundreds of years ago, sometimes on instruments that were made in those times. It's tempting to think that our challenges are unprecedented. But it's human nature to say that we have never faced challenges like this before. So let's say it's unprecedented, but let's respond. I refuse to wait for technology to catch up to the point that we can actually play together from our homes as we did face-to-face before the pandemic. I also refuse to wait until we are past the pandemic to make music together. Maybe we can look at this as an opportunity to enhance our learning skills. I have some ideas on preparing chamber music with the current technology that might be of interest to you if you share my idealism about keeping the high art of chamber music alive into the future. Thank you for sharing my studio, and I hope you enjoy the tutorials.